Hey, I'm Jay. Welcome to my booth. We got another sample that we're going to take a listen to. This is Tom. Tom's a teacher and records lessons for their students. So we're going to give him some feedback both on performance and technical stuff in a moment here. If you'd like me to review and provide feedback on your audio, there's a form in the description. It's free. It's about a 1 to 2 month wait to get to new submissions. But if you want to accelerate that, you can check out the Booth Buddies down below. It bumps you up the queue if you want to join that. Just supports this channel. There's also coaching on my website if you'd prefer that. Let's dive in.
Imagine you have two burglars, Bonnie and Clyde, who just burgled a jewelry store. On their way out, they accidentally triggered a fire. Later that night, they were apprehended by the police. Since they had the jewels on them, the district attorney is fairly certain that they can get a conviction for the burglary, but there were no eyewitnesses, so it's an open question whether there will be a conviction for the fire.
Okay. Pausing in the middle here because we got some thoughts. Firstly, love it already. It's sounding good. Love that this is something that you're doing for your students. I think that's really helpful. And your questions were specific towards intonation, breath, etc. Great questions. Firstly, I think you're doing fine as is. So this will just help, hopefully. But even if you are to take none of my thoughts, I think you'll be just fine. But first things first, in terms of, I work with a fair amount of teachers, and one thing that a lot have found helpful, particularly when we go to recording, because there's this phenomenon that happens when we move from classroom setting, talking to real human beings, to recording something, a bunch shifts. And it's like, do I sound natural? Is this right? Is this wrong? Am I breathing? Do I sound like a human anymore? And all of that stuff goes through our head. And what's helpful to bring us out of that is to just put ourselves back in the shoes of, I'm talking to my students. And a lot of people find helpful to imagine one student that, if you've ever been a teacher, usually every year, every couple years, there's a student that, you just sync with in some way and or like really syncs up with the material or something like that. That's happened to a lot of folks that my parents are both teachers, so that happens often enough. And in those instances, if you imagine that singular student and you're talking about this lesson, in this case, the prisoner's dilemma, that can really help to personalize and make it feel much more interpersonal than, now I'm going to read this presentation, and I'm not saying that you're doing this, Tom, but now I'm going to read this presentation about the prisoner's dilemma to you. It becomes more, hey, you know what, Tom? If we think about this thing, there's two people, Bonnie and Clyde, and it becomes much more like that. Two things that are helpful to bear in mind in that sense, and this applies both to teachers like this, but to voiceover in general, is if we're doing a lesson or something like this, there is a major difference between delivering it to a group of people, as you might in a classroom setting, versus to one person. And the difference there would be, if I'm talking to a group of people, maybe it starts to look a bit like this, where I'm making points. It still sounds relatively good, but my projection has increased because I have to reach a certain number of people in a room of a indeterminate size. But in this moment, I'm imagining just a classroom. There's maybe 20 or so students in here, and I'm just talking to everybody about the prisoner's dilemma. But if I switch it to just one student, it becomes much more intimate immediately. And the listener, at least in my experience as a listener, I become much more implicated in the information that's being delivered to me if it's just to me or just to you, Tom, in this case. And so that's one thing to just bear in mind as you're delivering things. And I had one final thought, but it just flew out of my head like a bird. I have a few technical ideas as well, so let's listen to the rest of this and then I'll bring those up.
The DA wants to incentivize cooperation, so they offer the following plea bargain. If both of them stay silent, then they'll get 3 years in prison each. If one of them confesses, then the person who confesses will only get 1 year, and the person who stays silent will get 8. But if they both confess, they'll both get 5 years, some time for the fire and some time for the burglary.
Okay. So a couple technical things that I don't know if it's happening this way or not, but I just wanted to raise them because I'm curious. So the equipment that you said you're using are the Zoom H5 recorder, this little guy here, and the Earthworks Ethos. Both great pieces of kit, particularly for this type of use case. However, your audio is in stereo, which sometimes is just a rendering thing as we export audio into an MP3 or something like that, like you had to do when you sent it to me. Sometimes we'll just send it in stereo and that's fine, it's whatever. However, in this case, if we watch the bars down here, the levels indicators, they're different. So the top bar is registering different levels than the bottom bar, which means that you're using stereo microphones in my case.
Imagine you have 2 burglars, Bonnie and Clyde, who just burgled a jewelry store.
So you see them bouncing differently from each other. And the reason that that's raising some questions for me is if you're using the ethos, these would be the same in many respects, or they would be the same because it's one microphone. The levels would be equivalent on both the left side and the right side. And what that has me thinking is that you're perhaps sending your audio, or at least the audio you sent me or that you pulled from the Zoom recorder, is coming from this input right here, these top 2 microphones, rather than when you jack the microphone into the back as seen here, the XLR port. So you're using, I think, these top 2 microphones rather than these bottom. You can kind of see here as well, these top 2, this is this microphone set up here on this top thing, and then the 1 and the 2 are these ports, XLR ports on the bottom. And you can see here that the stereo recording for this top setup there are different levels for the left and the right side. And it's not a huge issue, but if you have the ethos and you're using that, I just wanted to raise that for you, that you may be exporting audio that's different. Or perhaps, I don't remember how the Zoom works in terms of exporting. It may be that it's exporting all of the audio into one file. It could be that, but just something to bear in mind. Additionally, I don't know how you're processing this or if you plan to at all, but you said it was normalized to -23, and you can boost this up just a little bit more to have it be just a bit louder if you wanted to. But, for what you are using it for, I think it's totally fine. If you wanted to, publish this somewhere, then you might want to look into things a little bit more. So those are some of the technical things. Aside from that, I think that it sounds really solid. And my big note, shift to one individual. Think of a specific student if that's helpful, or, kids, mentors. Oftentimes I'll deliver things to my spouse because that makes it easy for me to personalize it. And beyond that, you don't need to feel bound to sounding clean or sounding smooth or anything like that. All to say, because it's your lesson here, sure, you can keep it you can stick to the script as much as you want, but if you're up to it, you could also try things like, here's the prisoner's dilemma. So let's just listen to this first bit.
Imagine you have 2 burglars.
If I wanted to make that different, I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but you could say, so imagine that you've got 2 burglars, and we'll call them Bonnie and Clyde. Funny, right? And you can loop in and out if you wish to, either in a practice session before you go back to record cleanly, just to loosen yourself up, get a sense of here's how I can move within the material. I don't have to feel like I need to stick on these tracks. I can loosen up a little bit if I want. That might be a fun thing to play with, but aside from that, it's sounding really solid. Let me know if that clears things up for you, helps out at all. But thanks for sending this in, Tom. For the rest of you, again, send me something down below. I'd love to hear some of your work, and I hope this was helpful for you. Until the next one of these, be well, everybody, and I'll see you there. Toodles.